Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Max, we back at it. How you doing tonight?
Doing good one. The NFL draft is over. It
Yeah.
was long process leading up. Crazy in its own way. I guess this year had a crazy thing with the quarterback too, which I'm sure we'll mention at some point. I'm sure everyone is.
Yeah.
But it's good. It was a good draft one. What do you think? It was cool to see Green Bay get a draft. The fans showed up. Got to respect it.
Yeah. It was cool to have it in Green Bay. But overall, like, draft was great. A lot of late round value. And I
Mhm.
would say like it wasn't crazy at the top. Like besides like the Travis Hunter thing, like, you know, that was I don't think it was like all that crazy compared to what we've seen in past years. But I think the most craziest thing, and I've never seen this ever, was the Shador stuff. I've never seen that happen. As far as a
Yeah, no.
prospect being talked about, I mean, I get some people had him in the third and the second. I can't remember somebody saying like, "Oh, he's a fifth rounder." That's kind of
Correct.
wild.
Correct. I did some research and I looked it up and I tracked. I mean, Mel Kiper loved this kid. I don't know if Dion's paying him, but the Ringer, like every source possible.
Yeah,
Everyone had him as a late first round pick,
yeah,
and he was invited to the draft,
yeah,
which means the NFL teams were like, "Yeah, we're probably going to spend a first round pick on him." And look, I went back and I kind of tracked it, and look, like I said on the live stream, and I said before, and I only disagree with a couple things he did, and I think he by not participating, he made it a little bit more. But I think the reason he was skipped on so many times was I don't know if the NFL colluded, but I don't want to go and be like conspiracy theorists, but I think teams were kind of peed off about how he pissed off about how he treated this process,
yeah.
and then certain teams won, like let's say Dallas drafted him.
Right.
Teams didn't want to take him because it was going to be a circus behind him. As soon as you draft him, it's like the Tebow effect. Let's say the Raiders get him one. Can't you see a big Raider contingency going? Well, let's start him over Geno,
Right.
and then it's just sinking into the locker room and
Yeah.
all this stuff, and it's
To
just
me, though, we'll get into it. I got Cleveland on
yeah.
there. We'll have a good little conversation about it. But I agree with some of the
Do
points
you
that you
agree?
say.
Yeah, do you agree with the thing he should have performed, like throwing at the combine, going to the
I
Senior
don't think
Bowl,
so.
or
I think there's so many quarterbacks that don't participate in that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Everyone does mostly the pro day. Uh, I think obviously it was the interview process. If you want to blame it on something and you're not conspiracy theorists, it's the interview process, and you know, people didn't seem too crazy about the arm strength and the quarterback tools. But you know, we'll get into it.
yeah, we will,
Make
we
sure to
will.
subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like this video, comment down below. We're doing grades today, okay? We're not gonna do the
Well, yeah,
traditional.
grades.
We're not
We
gonna
got
do
a
the
little new thing.
yeah, but we need it for the title, Max. We need that for that
Oh, sorry.
algorithm.
Grades.
Exactly. So we're
They're
gonna do a
coming
little
up.
different version of grades. I know we did grades on draft day during our stream, but that was raw reaction. Now we're having some time to process some things and take the class as a whole for all these teams. So we're gonna have three categories, mainly four. I doubt we're gonna use the last one. So we're gonna have love it, like it, questionable, or hate it. Okay, me and Max were talking about it. I don't think we're gonna have much hate, but definitely gonna be some lot of like and love it draft classes in this year's grade. So strap in your seatbelt. Let's get it going. We're gonna do every single team. We're gonna do all 32 teams. So this is gonna be a long podcast. We're gonna have timestamps for you guys. We're gonna make clips. So be patient with us. We hope you guys enjoy it. We're not gonna go in any particular order. But I think there's no other place to start, Max, than the Dallas Cowboys, because that's who I have first on my list. Okay,
I
so
honestly thought you're going to the Raiders. I'm shocked. This is shocking.
some of their notable picks that we have on the screen for the audience: Tyler Booker, Donovan, always
Izaraku.
Izaraku,
Izaraku.
and then Siobhan Ravel. So some great
God.
value here. Max, how are you feeling about this Cowboys draft as a whole?
I hate that I love it. I'm gonna take they're my rival. They're the team that we get the most hate for saying stuff, but I think they knocked it out of the park. I really do. Even if you take it a step further, they added Jaden Blue, really
Yep.
talented running back out of Texas. A Johnny Cornelius, solid tackle. They definitely need a swing tackle. The kid from UCLA, the D tackle, Phil Maffa, the running back.
Yeah.
He's the bruiser. The other kid's more the guy in space. And look, Ravel, I cannot believe he lasted the third round. I was praying the Eagles picked him. I really like this kid. Ezraku was my fourth edge. I think they hit this out of the park. If I was going to give it a grade A, but love it. It's a love it, man. It's wow. It's unbelievable.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say I like it, and the only reason why I like it is because I feel like I have one of these players a little bit ranked differently than you, as Araku. I know you
Booker.
love, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So
Yeah,
I
it
have
would be
him. I have
Booker.
him a little bit low on my list. So I think they drafted him pretty high in my opinion. And second of all, I feel like he doesn't really fit it. I feel like they needed bigger guys to stop the run. I feel like they have two guys that are straight pass rushers with Micah Parsons and Ezaraku, and both of those guys are not the best against the run. So I'm like, who's gonna stop the run? So that's what I'm kind of concerned about. I do agree they got some good depth in the later rounds. Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa, running back from Clemson, and I love the Tyler Booker pick. I do.
Yeah.
But
People
that's
hated on that pick, and I don't get it. I'm like, they desperately need an O-line.
right.
They desperately need with the Eagles, the Giants, who are just assembling pass rushers, and the Commanders, who can rush the passer as well as anybody, even though they might not have the best talent.
Yeah.
One thing I'll add to you on, I can kind of agree with you on the Ezraku thing about him kind of being like you're kind of what's the word, like you kind of have too much of this already. And this was right after I think JTT got picked by the Colts, and like they have Latu, they got a strong ass end who's just going to set the edge hard, and then you got JTT, and it's like the same thing. And if JTT was here rather than Ezraku, would that change your mind? You'd be like, oh, I love it because now
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
having parity, we have difference,
Right.
it's always good.
Yeah. But you know what? I still like it. I think there's some
Yeah,
great value with like getting Ravel in the third round is huge.
I
I think
know.
he obviously fell because of the small school injury concerns maybe,
Yeah,
but he has the capability of being a lockdown corner. And the one gripe that I have, it's not a big deal. It's not a dire need, but I do wish they would have drafted at least one wide receiver. They're in the market for a wide receiver. Everyone was talking about in the draft they're going to pick Marcus Golden or Matthew Golden, and they
yeah.
didn't wind up
They
doing it.
passed.
And they passed on every single wide receiver. I know they were in
Yeah,
talks to get George Pickens, so it's obviously a need. I would have liked them to get somebody in the fifth or the sixth, whatever. There were some receivers still out there when they were picking, and maybe pass on the guy with Shamar James from Florida, the linebacker in the fifth. Get yourself a wide receiver, take a flyer. That's my only
yeah.
gripe
You
with
could have
it.
taken a flyer on like Xavier Restrepo from Miami, or
Yeah, yeah,
even like Dominic Loveland from Georgia. Somebody, just throw something against because the fifth and sixth round picks don't always make the team.
right,
sometimes it's just cut them. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm
So
with you.
I like
Overall,
it.
though, good job.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
mean I hate it. I like it a lot. Just I'm gonna try to be as truthful as possible and say I'm not gonna try to love every team because it's hard. It's hard not to love all these draft classes because in certain ways, all of them are really amazing. That's how deep this
yeah.
draft class
Even
was.
even players you don't love, once you see where they're going, you're like, oh, well, I get it now. A prime
Right.
example would be a guy like Mike Hill at 11. I know that's getting into it too early, but once you see where the pick goes, it's like, damn, I love Tyler Booker on Dallas. If Tyler Booker got picked by the Niners, you're like, that's not really their type of guy, right? That's not their type of guard, but
Right.
it just works. Yeah.
Okay. So anything else on the Dallas Cowboys, Max?
No, I just think the Booker pick got too much criticism day one, and I think after a couple days, people were liking it a lot more. I think we both liked it right away, and we
Yeah.
kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah.
We said Kelvin Banks, wrong
100.
wrong guy, right position.
Yeah. 100%. Okay. Let's move on to the New York Giants.
I guess we're
Max.
just not going to do the Super Bowl champions seg
No,
first,
we're,
but
we're
whatever.
gonna.
Cool,
Hey,
cool.
best for last.
Best for last. Yeah, there you
There
go.
you go.
Thanks, Juan.
We gotta
Way
flip
to
it.
save it. Way to save
So
it.
some of the notable picks for the New York Giants, you got Abdul Carter with their third overall pick. They wound up trading back in the first for Jackson Dart. They got Darius Alexander in the third round, and they got Cam Scattaboo in the fourth round. So lot of stuff to talk about here, Max. When you're looking at this draft class as a whole, what's the big highlight for you?
It's obviously Abdul Carter. It's got to be. And when we saw them trade back into the second round, we were like, damn, what's it going to take? Like, what did they give up? And they gave up the 34th pick, a third rounder, the 99th pick in the draft, and then a third rounder next year. I don't think that's outrageous value. It's not like you gave up a future first like Atlanta did for James Pierce.
For a quarterback, too.
Brian Daboll is a quarterback whisperer. I don't think we should forget that with just the struggles they've had with it's Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones and Drew Lock and whoever else they've had over there. This guy got the job because he turned Josh Allen from a good quarterback to an MVP. And I think if he's going to buy into it and you're going to buy into him and give him one more year, sure. Like, even if they miss on Jackson Dart it's not like a franchise altering move, right?
Yeah.
It's really not. I love Abdul Carter. You stand pat, you get him. The number one defensive player other than Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's his own little category, guys.
Right.
The best edge, like you said, I think we both had him in his own little class.
Yeah.
And I love Darius Alexander. I like Marcus Bow.
You like Cam Scatterboo?
Yeah.
In the fourth round?
I don't love him, but you get him in the fourth round. I'm cool with that. That's all good.
Yeah.
Even though it's not my cup of tea. When I had him at 7, you had him at 5. He's solid. And get him in the fourth round? Absolutely. Yeah. Good value. Good value. But what did you think? I didn't get to hear you talk about Cam Scatterboo.
Look,
what do you think? I know you love the kid.
I like the place that he fell into because it's not like Tyrone Tracy is like some,
thumper. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I would love both of them on the field, so good little one, two-headed monster over there in New York. Look, obviously, I'm going to go with I like it. Okay. And that's just because I don't think Jackson Dart was the guy in number 1.
I like it too. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. We both thought it was for Shador.
Right.
I think everyone did.
So look, me and Max are Shador guys, when it comes to him over Jackson Dart. Okay. Jackson Dart is a fine player, but I do think I have some major question marks about Jackson Dart as far as like, I don't think his arm strength is like crazy compared to Shador Sanders. I don't think the processing is on a whole nother level. Like you do got to take it with with a grain of salt as far as like he came from Lane Kiffin, came from that Ole Miss offense where a lot of stuff is gimmies to him.
Really college offense, really college.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, so I like it. I really like Darius Alexander in the 3rd, Cam Scatterboo in the 4th, and then obviously you get the big dog in Abdul Carter. So maybe they can move off of Kayvon Thibodeau or maybe find a spot for him. Maybe throw someone in the inside. Who knows? They got Brian Burns. They got 3 edge rushers. It's not a bad thing to have 3 edge rushers.
No, not at all. Not at all. And God forbid one of them gets hurt.
Right.
You're not left standing there like the Detroit Lions. I bet Detroit Lion fans are like, 3 sounds great.
Yeah. They'll find a way. They'll find a way to get those guys on the field at the same time. Yeah. So I like it too. Yeah. So as far as Jackson, and do you feel like in all honesty, like, do you think Jackson Dart would have been there? That I think they panicked a little bit because they jumped right in front of LA, the Rams, at the time, and the Rams were talking.
Maybe the Rams had intel that McVay really. But here's my thing: if McVay loved Goff and worked with Goff for so many years, I would think Shador would fit that bill. And unless, again, they're worried, I don't want to turn every decision about why would they pass up Shador, but this one specifically, if they had intel and he's your guy, and you're not worried about all the other stuff, because hey, I can agree with NFL executives of we're kind of worried if this kid gets into the big city and he's already got money and how focused is he going to be, right? Because I've never interviewed him, right? And if you didn't love the interview, that's absolutely a valid reason to not take him in the first round. Yeah. Absolutely valid.
And if we're grading the pick based off of this Jackson Dart, honestly, like I come back to this as well. Like they traded up for him in the first round, right? They have Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Jackson Dart now. Now I understand throwing Shador Sanders into that mix would have been even worse, because it's a circus when he comes to town. So I find it hard that Jackson Dart's just going to come in and like succeed because he's not going to start right away. Like, do you think he's going to look better?
Yeah, no, I would.
Do you think he's going to look?
Wouldn't.
Okay, so he's not, right? But this
I would
coaching
think not.
staff needs to win now. They can't afford to be
I,
like, "Oh,
I
we're
will say
we're
this:
grooming
I don't
Jackson
think they're
Dart."
as far off as people think. I understand they were bad last year, 3-14, but Russell Wilson's a level up from whatever the quarterback play they had last year. The last year it was abysmal,
Mhm.
and I think the O line's headed in the right direction. Andrew Thomas is healthy. They got Illuminor. They got Bow. Even if they can get anything out of Evan Neal, they got your boy 2 years ago, John Michael Schmitz, who's
Yeah.
been really good for them.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of turning things around one slowly but surely. And what I do like is you got Cam Scott about, you got a guard to help out, and you still have Malik Neighbors and Jalen Hyatt's solid. You maybe get a tight end in there. It's not
I don't
like I
know
know
about Jalen.
I'm not trying to glaze Jalen Hyatt. I'm just saying it's not like he has nothing out there to succeed. They're slowly building it in the right
I can
direction.
just
Tyrone Tracy.
I can just see a world where the quarterback is still an issue just because of the musical chairs. Just because like
I could see
if
that too.
if Russell Wilson is playing bad, let's start Jameis. Oh, Jameis looked good in one quarter.
Again,
Oh,
and this is a problem with always taking a talented backup is like if your starter, God forbid, he struggles, like Joey said to me, well, why would the Patriots not take Shador right here? Like just the value of the pick. I'm like, because they don't
no.
want Drake May to struggle at all and be like, yo, throw Shador
Yeah,
out there.
no. That's why they got rid of Joe
Exactly.
Milton.
Exactly. And Joe Milton didn't even do that much. He played against Buffalo's backups and people were going ape
Yeah.
shit. Excuse my
And that's what
language.
happens. That's what happens. The media is there, especially in New York. They're gonna be like, "Oh, Jackson Dart looked good in practice today. Oh, Russell Wilson's
Oh, I
throwing
remember
picks."
Davis Webb. Remember how good
Yeah,
he was because he had the big arm. And wow, whoa, look at this guy.
yeah. So I'm gonna say I like it. Honestly, if just they didn't pick Jackson Dart, I probably would have loved it because I really do like all the other players that they have. It's just that one I'm questioning a little bit. All right,
Yeah,
good on the Giants, Max.
good on the Giants. Let's go to the Commanders.
All right, Commandees are up next. They didn't really have that many picks. Okay, I have two
Five,
notable. I have two
five
notable
picks.
picks as far as notable goes. Josh Connerly in the first round, and then they picked up Trey Amos in the second round. So, Max, what are your overall thoughts on Washington? Because I don't. After that, after the second round, they had a fourth, sixth, and seventh. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
and they
it's nothing
took Jalen
crazy.
Lane, who's solid. They drafted the other linebacker at UCLA, who I don't really love. Look, I would. This is as close to hated as I can go. But one thing I'll give them is they desperately needed an offensive lineman, and if that's your guy, I don't really like Josh Connerly. To me, I would have let Charles Grant, Ariante, Ursay, Josh Simmons was there. But this guy's going to kick in the guard. He's going to play the Samuel Cosme position. I'm going to go questionable. This is a definitely questionable one for me. One, I don't love it. I honestly, they took guys way too early for my liking.
I feel it. I'm gonna go with questionable as well. I don't know how good Jalen
Not a
Lane
lot of
is.
quality, not a lot of quantity too. It was really just 5 picks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was
Yeah, yeah.
there wasn't much there. But
And you look at their roster one, it's not like the world's greatest roster, right? It's not like, damn, we have all pros everywhere. It's just like a lot of good guys playing their butts off for Dan Quinn.
yeah,
And I think there were better players that you could have went. Like I would have went Siobhan Ravel. I would have went for the home run rather than I think a guy who's going to be a solid corner for maybe like 5 years.
yeah.
I don't
So
know.
look, I thought they really needed a wide receiver. You know, they got that in the fourth round. Trey Amos, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I'm not the biggest fan of Trey Amos. I thought they could have went a multitude of different players in the second. Like I'm looking at it right now on where they picked this guy, and they had. Let me just double check real quick. As far as receivers,
Ravel
you
was
could have
still on
got
the
Kyle
board.
Williams, who
Oh
I
yeah.
like better. Pat Bryant went in the third round. You got Jalen Knoll that went in the third round. Uh, a multitude of like just players that I felt like were better than Trey Amos at that spot. But hey, they obviously liked him to the point where they picked him in the second round. I know people were high on him in the draft in general. I personally wasn't. That's how I feel about it. I'm gonna go with questionable. And I feel like as much as everyone loves 50 Cent, I feel like that was a glaring problem in a running back class that's really deep. They got the kid out of Arizona, the back, not the backup, but Jacory or whatever. I didn't even wind up scouting, and he's a seventh round pick. Who knows if he even makes the team? But I think like 50 Cent was a problem last year. He was fumbling the ball. Austin Eckler wound up being their best running back.
Oh, Brian Robinson?
Yeah, I call him 50
Have
Cent.
people call him 50 Cent? Oh,
Yeah, because
okay.
he got shot up. My boy
Yeah, no.
survived. My boy
I,
survived
I
five
got it.
shots.
I got it. I got it. Good one.
But
I don't know.
yeah,
It's
I
not
thought they
me.
could have. I thought they could have went running back in the draft, and a better one because it was so deep. Instead of the Trey Amos, maybe you don't like the receiver, you like your boy Jalen Lane. You have confidence, you got him in the fourth. Pick Caleb Johnson in the second.
Yeah.
So
Why not?
questionable, nothing crazy, not enough to hate it though. Definitely not enough to hate it. I'm gonna struggle with trying to find a team to hate. It's gonna be hard.
This is as close to hating as I got, and it's not there yet.
Okay, let's go to your team, Max, which I think
Finally,
both of us ain't
about
gonna hate. All right,
about
Philadelphia
time.
Eagles. I put 4 guys that are notable on here. I put Jahad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama, Andrew Makuba, Smell Moden from Georgia. And I love that you guys got Cameron Williams from Texas in the 6th round.
I did too.
I think he's
I
going to be
can't believe
super
we got
solid.
Yeah, Jeff Stoutland University, best O-line coach in football. Look, everyone talked. I think a lot of people talked about the first round. It's just how did Jahad Campbell make it there? He was arguably a top 10 player on some people's board. He was pretty high up on mine. He had the shoulder thing, but one, it's not like we need him right away. We have Nakobe Dean, who's banged up, but he can come back. We have Zach Bond. We have a good defense. But him and Zach Bond could just wreak havoc out there. It's just which guy's blitzing, which guy's going to fall back, because they're both dynamic athletes in space.
Yeah.
And then the Makuba kid, we got rid of Charlie Gardner-Johnson. Now, I don't know if he's got the trash talk in him, but the way he plays, where he's just flying all over the place, good ball skills. I was honestly, I think I might like Makuba more than Campbell, because I would never have thought in a million years we would have had a chance to draft Andrew Makuba.
Right. No, I love it just based off of those 2 players, and then you add in Cameron Williams in the 6th, like that's just icing.
Ty
on the
Robinson
cake.
was solid. I remember scouting him. He wasn't super high, but like in the 4th round to get him, sounds good.
Another guy too. That's interesting that you guys picked him. Kyle McCord from Syracuse, quarterback that you guys got in the 6th round. You know, that's just trying to get on high talent. A potential like high talent guy in case stuff winds up going south. You know how it is in the NFL sometimes.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts gets hurt, and Dorian Thompson doesn't get it, and maybe McCord's really good.
Yeah,
he took a risk last year with Kenny Pickett. It worked out, you know.
So I love what Howie did. Howie knocked it out of the park again. This is going to be my first.
I love it. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm not trying to. The Jahad and Makuba pick, really. I mean, I was really high on these guys regardless. We both like them a lot.
Yeah, Jahad Campbell was my number 1 linebacker, your number 1 linebacker as well. And then Andrew Makuba for me was my 2nd overall safety. So to get him in the 2nd at the 64 pick, that's phenomenal. Phenomenal value.
And Moden's a great athlete, and he'll just provide depth, much needed depth for that Georgia Eagle defense.
Yeah, definitely a guy that's worth to take that risk on for the 5th round.
Yeah, and most of our picks, there was no 3rd round pick, and it was like early 4th, and then there was a bunch of late guys. The Eagles drafted almost as many guys in the 6th round as they did the first 5. So a lot of these guys will be practice squad and won't make it, but maybe you hit a gem on Cameron Williams and you can just be a solid tackle.
And a lot of these guys, refresh me on your safety situation, but I know for linebacker, like you said, you already have Zach Bond, and then number 2, Nakobe Dean is still pretty damn good. It's just he's hurt all the time. So let's say Nakobe Dean is healthy. It's not a big deal if he does play, because it's like, okay, Jahad Campbell, you can learn under the wings. Take your time.
Yeah, maybe he'll be out there in an edge situation.
Right.
A lot of people project him to be like a Micah almost.
Yeah.
The safety situation is Reed Blankenship's good. We traded C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We have Sidney Brown. We have Keely Ringo, who's kind of a safety corner hybrid, I guess, at this point. And now you just infuse Makuba.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Makuba's a dog, man. Makuba is an absolute dog.
I think he's going to play a big role in the Eagles defense next year. I really hope so.
Yeah.
And I think we're not really that high on Sidney Brown. I think he's going to be a special teamer.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the Philadelphia Eagles, Max? Bless you, by the way.
No.
I've seen that.
Thank you. We won. Like always.
Yeah. Howie knocked
Man, people hate Howie. People hate that he can't keep getting away with it. But you know what? I don't know where we're going next. Baltimore got away with some draft just shenanigans.
Well, let's go with the team that wound up beating them. Okay, let's go with the Buffalo Bills. Okay,
Oh, let's
and
go.
you know what? Early on, when day one, night one, they picked Maxwell Harrison. I was kind of like, I wasn't really liking it. Man, dude, looking at their draft class as a whole now, when it's all said and done, I love it. This is probably going to be a disagreement on your end. You're probably going to like it, but absolutely love their draft class. They get TJ Sanders, a guy that I really like. Landon Jackson, I understand I didn't have him that high.
I really like him.
Yeah.
Joey loves him.
And I love Deion Walker, and I absolutely love Dorian Strong. And they get him in the 6th round. So, like, I like
that's
the fact
Buffalo corner. He's just gonna play the rock solid zone all game. But Maxwell Harrison, and again, for everyone out there who's just like, well, they just got back Trey White. They just drafted a corner. Why? They had Teron Johnson, all pro. Their corners aren't that good.
Yeah.
Like, does this not just say to you, I know they just extended Christian Bedford, but they need difference makers. We've been pounding on the table for years. We made a video that you guys liked, and we appreciate it, but it's not enough. You just got to get difference makers, and that's what Maxwell Harrison could be. No one on their team can run with him. Nobody.
Yeah.
Absolutely nobody.
Yeah. Let's see how Maxwell ends up. You know, once upon a time, they picked a guy in Kyrie Elam that didn't wind up panning out pretty well.
My goat.
But hey,
my hero. Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, the reason why a lot of these guys' grades changed, like Max was alluding to in the beginning of the podcast, and I really like the fit with Landon Jackson going to Buffalo because he's going to a spot where there's great coaching. He's not going to be asked to do something crazy. Like, he's going to be a rotational guy at first, and then maybe he can grow into something that's, you know, potentially like your second best edge rusher on the team. So
he's real boomer bust, and that's what they need, man. Yeah. They got to stop taking
take a swing.
Oh, we'll take a guy who's going to get 2 sacks a year, but he'll be productive against him. Let's get this guy could hit, and he could be Max Crosby. Not saying he will, but that's a possibility with this guy.
And then they got
Deion Walker's a big space eater.
He's a big space eater. Yeah, so I really like that one. And then they got an underrated one. I didn't put it on the notable, but Chase Lutt from UConn, 6th round, an offensive lineman.
Solid guard.
Yeah, solid guard. Tackle. So I really love their draft class. I don't know how people are grading it everywhere else, but I really love it.
I'm going to go love it. Well, I might not love all the players. I love the philosophy of let's get some high ceiling guys. Landon Jackson in the 3rd was a tremendous pick.
2nd.
Really good pick.
2nd, Max. 2nd, but at the tail end of the 2nd.
It says right here, round 3, pick 8.
Then CBS is wrong, Ben. Let me double check.
Sorry. That's what ESPN. Yeah, that's what it says. Round 72. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong, but you know.
I don't know why. Right. I don't know why they put 2nd round then. That's weird. Oh, then that's even greater. That's even good.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, even better. 3rd rounder for Landon Jackson.
TJ Sanders, I don't love one, but again, it's like let's beef up this D line.
Right.
Because we can't just keep sitting there and be like, man, Mahomes got all day to throw. Let's blitz them. No, you cannot.
Okay. Anything else on the Buffalo Bills, Max?
No. Let's go to the next one.
Let's go New England Patriots, who people are loving this draft. So notable ones, of course, they get Will Campbell, night 1. They get Travion Henderson to start off day 2. They get Kyle Williams in the 3rd round. And then they get Braden Swinson in the 5th.
They got Jared Wilson, too, in the 3rd, who could be a really good center.
Yeah.
And Craig Woodson. People with Woodson always be good in the NFL. Last name Woodson.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So what are your initial thoughts on the draft class for the New England Patriots, Max?
Look, I don't love Will Campbell as the 4th pick in the draft. That's why this class is going from it could be a love to a like it. What I do like is if they kick him into guard, he'll be good, I'm guessing. But they help Drake May. They really help Drake May. The first 3 picks are all on the offense. And you think about Mike Vrabel, you're usually like, he's a defensive coach. You know, we're gonna build that defense. No, you help out the O-line, you help out the running back room, you get someone dynamic. They got 2 dynamic guys. Kyle Williams, I know he didn't make our cut, and we didn't really find out about him until late in this draft scout, but he got like explosiveness to him, and that's what I like. That team is desperate need of explosiveness, and they had 2 of the most explosive playmakers in the league in the draft. Excuse me, love it, but still like it because of Will Campbell. I hate to say it, man. it's just too early for the kid, man. I just don't like him. I don't like him as a prospect for a tackle.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
As much as I want to agree with you, Max, I'm gonna say I love it because I really do like Travion Henderson going there because they're in, like you said, they're in desperate need of a playmaker, and he's gonna be an absolute explosive playmaker for them. Kyle Williams in the third, I love the value there. There were some guys, hinted Chris Sims, talking about this guy going in the first. You get him in the first, I mean, in the third, great value. Craig Woodson, Jared Wilson, Joshua Farmer, excuse me, from Florida State. I feel like that's a great value pick in the fifth. And then, like I alluded to earlier, like they get Braden Swinson in the fifth, who I felt like was a solid like day two guy, late day two. But the fact that you get him in round five,
Oh, I know.
I love it. And they got a
Yeah.
lot of guys in this draft class. They got about like 8-9 guys that they drafted.
Yeah, they had like 4 7th-round picks or something, 3 7th-round
So
picks.
I love the
6,
depth.
yeah.
I really like it. Okay. To the point where
They're building something.
yeah, they're building something special. And as much as I want to crap on Will Campbell and say he's a guard, it's still like the philosophy is there. And even if he's not a tackle and he's a kick-ass guard, and you take at a whole, like my predictions as far as these players go that they have, it's gonna be a home run draft. It's gonna be something that saves, Drake May's career as far as him being like one of these elite guys. So
Correct.
I love it. I love their draft class a lot.
I like it.
Max, let's go to the Miami Dolphins. Okay. So the Dolphins, some of their draft picks, Kenneth Grant with their first pick, Jonah Savania, I don't know.
Sevenia, I guess.
Sevenia, there you go. In the second round, who I absolutely love. And Ollie Gordon in the sixth round. A lot of people like Ollie Gordon, so I had to put him on there. I don't feel the same, but hey, they get Ollie Gordon
Quinn
in the
Ewers
sixth round.
in the 7th.
Yeah, I didn't really want to
I
put
mean,
him.
but that's two insurance. It's two insurance, and I think that's actually good because he could succeed in this offense.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. You need a backup. Last year when Tua got hurt, how bad were they? Tua was an injury risk. I love the Kenneth Grant and the Jonah pick because you got something your team desperately needed: big people who can just stand the ground and make you more physical and give you an edge. And that's what Jonah's going to bring to the O line. And I think Kenneth Grant's going to do that for the D line. And I'm not the biggest Kenneth Grant fan. He was my 5th D tackle. But I like the philosophy of let's add something we don't have and address two needs.
Very outside the box as far as the Dolphins go for this draft. Even a guy in Ollie Gordon, who I feel like has some physicality to him coming out of Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and they got 3 running backs they just took in the last 3 years. Achan, Jalen Wright, and Ollie Gordon. And they all do different stuff.
And then even a guy in Quinn Ewers where he's not the most mobile guy. He has a kick-ass arm, but, very different philosophy when it comes down to the Miami Dolphins. It's Chop Robinson. It's Tyreek Hill. It's Devon Achane. It's Jalen Waddle. Yeah, all speed, all finesse. And this draft, like Jonah Savania, he's the complete opposite of finesse. He is all power.
Yeah.
He is all ass whooper. That guy is going to be a force on their offensive line. And I love the fact that he has some tackle flexibility to him in case things get shaky right there with Austin Jackson and their other tackle. Worst comes to worst, you play him at guard, he's going to be a Pro Bowl caliber guard in the NFL.
Yeah. And then he's going to get that run game going.
Yeah. So, and then Kenneth Grant, like Max said, I'm not the biggest fan of Kenneth Grant, but, I at least like the Dolphins taking a swing at him. Because he's a boomer bust guy. I know people feel a lot different about him as far as him being like this high floor type of dude. I didn't really see the disruption from him on film all that much. But he can take up space. He's going to be able to stop the run. And if he can be something special as far as like a Quinnen Williams or, one of these elite guys at D tackle,
if he could be like an Aleem McNeil, it would just be a big help to their team.
Yeah, and they've been missing that ever since Christian Wilkins left. So they got to get back on track in that aspect and get that defense going and get some physicality to that team, man. So I'm going to say I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't say I question it or hate it. Not at all.
I love it. I think they did a lot of things right. So I'm going to go love it.
Okay. Anything else on the Dolphins, Max?
No, let's hit the Jets.
All right. New York Jets. Some of their notable picks: Armand Membu in the first round, Mason Taylor in the second, and Azare Thomas in the third round. Max, looking at the New York Jets picks, what do you think about this draft class?
I think from where we thought it was going to go to where it did go, if I told you, hey, we're going to have Tyler Warren and Charles Grant, or we could have Armand Membu and Mason Taylor, I think everyone would almost say, yeah, we'll take the Mason Taylor option. Because, like we said, tight ends kind of overvalued in the draft. Tackles are where it's at. They got maybe the one of the better tackles. You know, I had Josh Simmons first, Kelvin Banks two, him third. But he's a professional tackle. When Tyron Smith retiring, he'll take over the left side, or maybe Fashanu will, and he'll just move to the right. I really like their draft class. I'm gonna go like it. Azrae Thomas, I know I was high on him, but if I redid my rankings, he'd be much lower after seeing his pro day and what he ran. But other than that, I like it. They addressed some needs. They went a different route. They passed up Tyler Warren, and they still got a good tight end in the second round.
I'm gonna say I love it. As much as I wanted Tyler Warren for them in our mock draft, and I feel like Tyler Warren would have been a big difference maker for them and help out Justin Fields. Hey, you get a guy in Mason Taylor in the second. I don't mind it. I feel like he's going to play with a little bit extra passion because he's playing for a former team that his dad played for. So he's going to be comfortable with the staff. I think the staff is going to be rooting for him very hard. And then Azare Thomas, I love Azare Thomas. I think it's kind of funny
Sauce,
that
watch out. Watch out, Sauce.
no, not Sauce, but I find it funny that a lot of the corners that I like over the years, especially with Terrion Arnold from Alabama last year, and Aaron Glenn was the defense
Are
coordinator.
slow?
Yeah, the
Oh,
slower guys that are press man to man, type of dudes. And Azare Thomas he fits that build. He ran
he's
a four.
that. He is
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he's that. So I find it funny that Aaron Glenn got him. Hopefully, this one works out a little bit more than Terrion Arnold. I have faith in him. I like Azare Thomas a lot, and they get Arian Smith from Georgia, a flyer on a receiver that
Yep,
can
burner.
potentially work out. And then they get a guy in Malachi Moore who he's a very experienced player. His film was meh, and that's why he went in the fifth round. I think it confirms on what me and Max both seen on film. But hey, you get him in the fifth round. This guy, his ceiling can be a poor man's Brian Branch. That's the
Yeah,
type
Aaron
of player
Glenn's
that
gonna
he can
coach him
be.
up too.
Yeah,
Aaron Glenn
so
gonna coach him
so
up.
I think he's trying to find value there as far as hey, Brian Branch was on that Detroit defense, can move all over the place. Malachi Moore was doing the same stuff with Bama. He has a lot of experience. He was the star. He was the linebacker, a safety, slot corner, everywhere. So I love the fact that they took a chance on him in the fifth round. And then they get a guy in Tyler Barron, edge from Miami, who's not that bad at all. So I love this draft class. I think I'm with the same philosophy as Max says, as far as you tell me you get Membu and Mason Taylor instead of Tyler Warren and
Yeah,
some
we'll
other
take
guy.
it.
We'll
Let's
take it
go.
all day long.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's move on and let's go to I'm losing my spot here. Let's go
Oh,
to
you're good.
the LA Rams. Let's go to the NFC West. Okay, so the LA Rams, they actually traded out of the first round and they were a part of that Atlanta Falcons deal. In
Yeah, they just
this
don't like picking in the first round.
They don't. They're just like, you know what? We'll find awesome players
We're used
regardless.
to it. We're used to it. Yeah. We're not,
And
yeah.
honestly, this draft class, I'm gonna say the only thing that saved it was the third round pick for me, Josiah Stewart. It's teetering with that questionable though, because Terrence Ferguson in the second. Hey, I know it's McVay. I know it's hard to be like, oh, you're gonna disagree with McVay because obviously he sees something. I don't agree with the value. Now, hey, if he winds up being a solid tight end, shut me up. Okay, I'm wrong. And I'll take pride in that because it's Sean McVay that you're going against. Jarquez Hunter in the fourth. And then they pick a guy in Chris Paul Jr. out of Ole Miss, the linebacker in the fifth round. But I really love the Josiah Stewart picking. He's one of my gems in this class. I love the fact that he went to the Rams. I think the Rams always take guys like this who are unorthodox, not really your typical size profile or the best looking player in the draft, and then they wind up making them into a potential Pro Bowler or just a great starter on their team. I think of a guy in Kamari Kitchens last year who I really loved. They wind up picking him at safety. he is a really good safety for the
Oh,
Rams.
Cameron Kitchens, yeah,
Cameron Kitchen,
UC,
sorry.
Miami guy. You know what, one? I didn't think there'd be a draft class I hate. I'm gonna go with this one. I hate it. Look, Josiah Stewart and Chris Paul, they were good picks, solid, but the direction and not to address safety or they addressed wide receiver in round 7 with the kid I'm not really a big fan of and didn't watch much of him, and maybe that's my own fault. But the fact Terrence Ferguson way too early off the board and to not take a single DB, this is one I'm going to just go with hate. And I know it's McVay, and I know they just do magic every year, but right now I hate it. Maybe it'll come back to bite me. So this is the only one I think I'll have hate, and it's not really a strong hate. It's like a light hate.
Go questionable then. Maybe it's
No, we got to use
questionable.
hate. We got to use hate one time. Got to use it once. This is the worst class I think I've seen.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So Max is on board with his
Other
first.
than the
I
Raiders
hate.
class, yeah. Yep.
Raiders actually had a really good draft class. I can't wait to get to them. But let's move
So
on.
same thing about Cleveland Farrell one.
I did not say that. But okay. Don't you love Clelin Ferrell more than me, but okay.
Just trying to knock you off your game. That's it. Go ahead. What's
Okay,
the next team, buddy?
let's go to the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, Arizona. I got 3 draft picks up here for the audience. I got Walter Nolan, Max's boy. So you automatically gotta love this class,
Love
right?
it. Love it.
And then they get Will Johnson
I
at
know.
47 in the second round. They wind up picking Jordan Birch as well in the third round, who a lot of people like. Max, how are you feeling about the Arizona Cardinals draft class?
I love it. Love.
Of course you do.
I love the Walter Nolan pick. Hey, was it a little early? Sure. The Will Johnson pick was by far the most valuable pick in the draft, other than Shador to the Browns. Like, this is a guy of number 3 on my board. The medicals, sure. If that's a problem, that's why he fell, sure. I would have taken a stab on him in the second round. Any team. If I was any team, there was no player with a greater upside than him. And I love upside. Love the class, and it's all Will Johnson's fault. I love it. It's all him.
I think Will Johnson saved this draft class for me. I like it. You obviously know how I feel about Walter Nolan. But getting a guy in Jordan Birch in the third, Cody Simon, solid linebacker out of Ohio State.
I like that they went a lot of defense, because let John Gannon make his – what's his name? Gannon? What's his name? Jonathan?
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon.
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah. I called him John Gannon. It sounded weird. But let him build his defense. That you hired him because of his defensive mind. Let him build it. And they got a lot of chess pieces now.
And what I'm noticing too, a lot of people in this draft class, they went all big schools. Besides their 7th round pick, they got Texas, 2 Ohio State guys, Oregon, Michigan, Ole Miss. Those are all big time schools.
That's like a Howie thing to draft from big schools for the most part.
Yeah, most definitely. So they're getting some high caliber players. I love Will Johnson, man. Max kind of already spoke on it as far as like how high he had him on his big board. I had him very high as well. He is an amazing athlete. Obviously, we don't know about the injury concerns. His medicals obviously didn't check out. There's no way that you watch the film on that guy and he's a 2nd round pick. He's a bona fide 1st round pick. And the fact that Arizona got him at that spot, and if he winds up being the shutdown, lockdown corner that me and Max expect him to be,
you don't find these guys in the 2nd round.
No,
you don't.
Yeah. So love that. And Walter Nolan, hey, maybe Jonathan Gannon has a plan for him. Hopefully he can get his, I want to say like head on straight. And I say that in a way that like, hey, you don't have to make every play, dude. Sometimes you do got to play like a Georgia guy and just do your damn job so you don't get out of position. Okay.
Valid.
Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that.
You're just mad you didn't draft him. But
I'm not mad at all. I would have been super pissed if we picked Walter Nolan. I would have been so mad.
All right, moving on to either Seattle or the San Fran.
Let's go to San Francisco. Okay. Shout out to Joey. I know Joey's going to be.
They drafted Joey's number 1 favorite player, Michael Williams. Only guy Joey did not want.
Yeah. So I got 3 notable guys on here. Just because we'll get into it a little bit later, but I felt like Niners went kind of off the wall. I was saying it in day 2 of our stream. I was like, man, there was a lot of guys on the board that they passed up on to get, these 2 guys that they absolutely loved. But hey, I like the Michael Williams pick as far as him going to San Francisco. I know it's pretty early, but hey, it is the Niners at the end of the day. I have confidence that they can they can really teach this guy and get that rawness off of him and him be pretty damn good, especially
And he
him
doesn't
not.
have to be Superman.
Yeah,
He doesn't have to be
because they got
Superman.
Nick
Like you
Bosa.
said, yeah, he can just be Robin.
And then you know how I feel about Alfred Collins. I love this pick for the Niners as far as getting Alfred Collins
Yeah.
in the second round. What about you,
Yeah,
Max?
their first 5 picks, they went all defense, and their next 6, they pretty much went all offense. And I have to say, I'm a big fan of what they did. I like this draft class a lot. Look, Mike Hill wasn't my favorite. There was better guys on the board, but it's sure scary to see San Fran and believe in him, because if San Fran does, you're like, ooh, maybe he's like really good, and we just underestimated him, and he was playing hurt. Alfred Collins, big D tackle, is going to kick butt for them. They've like invested like draft capital, Javon Kinlaw, free agency, Javon Hargrave. Neither worked out. This is going to be like, this is them reloading the defense. This has, what's their D coordinator's name? Salah's
Salah.
fingerprints all over it.
Yeah. Look,
And it's scary. I don't love the offensive guys that really went. Curtis Rourke, Brock Purdy 2.0. That's funny. Just don't even sign him. Just get Curtis Rourke in there. Look good. But the defense is reloaded, and it's scary for every team in there.
I'm just gonna say this. I was kind of close to saying questionable. What really saved it is the Alfred Collins. I really like Jordan James, the running back out of Oregon. I like the CJ West.
Yeah, I was gonna say you
I
liked him.
really like CJ West out of the fourth round. But the two picks that kind of make me head scratch, and there was a lot of players on the board at this time. Like Siobhan Ravel was out there. I know people didn't love Kobe Bryant, but I feel like this Upton Stout kid, cornerback from Western Kentucky, I don't know much about him. He was kind of an off the wall pick as far as being a third round pick. Obviously, I really loved Kobe Bryant, and the league disagrees with me because he went undrafted and he wound up signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But hey, it doesn't matter where you get drafted. It matters what you produce on the field. There's been countless players to go late in the rounds or undrafted, and they still wind up being good players. So that doesn't mean that Upton's going to be a better player. But all I'm saying is that I question those two picks with Nick Martin and Upton Stout. Obviously, they know more about me because they extensively watch these guys with a close eye, and they obviously love them. But I have question marks about it, especially in a guy in Stout, because Stout, he's a 5'8" guy. He's a slot corner. That sounds a lot like Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant killed it in the Shrine Bowl. I thought he killed it at Senior Bowl. Like, I just feel like you should have drafted a guy like that. But hey, that's my opinion.
Upton Stout was a surprise pick for me. I wasn't a big fan of him. I watched a few games of him. I mean, he's your nickel guy. He's got to be. He's tiny. He's not playing outside.
Yeah.
But the D-line stuff I like that they did.
Yeah, the D-line stuff you really like.
The great Niner teams that we've seen, it's always D-line kicks butt every week.
Yeah. And I told this to Joey on our stream. The problem with the Niners is not necessarily picking the wrong guys. Like, excluding Solomon Thomas, they obviously picked the wrong guy.
Trey Lance.
I'm talking about defensive line. Okay.
Oh, got you.
Not quarterback. But even a guy like Javon Kinlaw, like, the talent was there, but the injuries were always a concern. That was the thing. Javon Hargrave, free agency, they picked the right guy. It's just he got hurt. So it's like they always wind up getting the good guys. It's just, hey, like, these guys have to pan out as far as injury-wise. So hopefully CJ West, Alfred Collins, these big boys, Michael Williams, can just stay healthy, get better, and really show why the Niners are so excited about a guy like Robert Saleh, because this is what he does. He drafts guys like this, and he elevates them. He elevates their play, gets them better.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go to the last team.
Seattle Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks. Let's take a look at their draft class. So, first round, they go Gray Zabel, who I absolutely love. Yep. 2, they go Nick Emanwari, safety, South Carolina.
They traded up for him.
Then they go back in the second round. They get Elijah Arroyo, tight end out of Miami. And then they also draft a guy, Jalen Milroe. They get a quarterback. So, Max, looking at this draft class as a whole, how you feeling about it?
I like it. It's nothing special to me. Greg Zabel, stud. He's going to be a great guard. They've had O-line problems for the last 10 years. Emanwari is going to really define this draft class, whether he can become a Kyle Hamilton clone and be that for this defense, or if he just doesn't pan out and he kind of just sets this defense back and maybe Mike McDonald's whole coaching tenure. Look, he's a boomer bust. People compare him to Kyle Hamilton because of the size, and he's got all the measurables, right, Juan? But you turn on the tape, you don't see physicality, you don't see tackling. You see someone who's good in space, and one wants to say, hey, let's move him to corner, play him outside of Tariq Woolen. But for me, it's a risky pick, even in the second round. And I get early second. You traded up for him. I like the tight end Arroyo. I love Milroe as a developmental quarterback. Let him sit behind Sam Darnold because they're not investing in Sam Darnold long term. This is your bridge quarterback for 2 to 3 years while you get on track. I love the Torrey Horton pick. Really love that.
Fifth
Like
round.
Damian Martinez, like Ricky White. I like this draft class a lot, Juan. That's my take.
I'm just gonna say it's questionable. Okay. And it's because of the Nick Man, Eman Worry, the Elijah Royal in the second round. I thought that was way too high. Jalen
Over
Melrose.
Fannin, right?
Yeah,
He
and
went
then
before
Jalen
Fannin.
Melrose, quarterback out of Alabama. I like Jalen Melrose, but in the
At
third
the end of the
round,
third, though, that's not bad. At the
it's
end of
not
the
bad,
third,
but I'm just like I feel like Seattle needs a little bit more needs than quarterback right now. Little bit more. And hey, I'm just saying it's questionable. I don't hate it. I really like the Gray Zabel pick, but I'm just gonna say it's questionable, man. I like Ricky White, seventh rounder, Damian Martinez. I
yeah,
love the value right
yeah,
there, but I thought Seattle could have done better with some of the guys on the board. And that's why it's questionable, because they could prove me wrong. And Nick Man Eman Worry is the biggest like joker out of this draft class that Max said. If he
yeah,
winds up being an all pro safety like people are predicting, he's going to be exploding this draft class all the way up. It's going to be a legendary draft class for them. So
yeah,
we'll see.
absolutely.
We'll see how that ends up. But I'm going to say questionable for this one for the Seattle Seahawks. Let's move on to the AFC North. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh. First of all, I just want to highlight this guy. They get your boy. They get Will Howard in the sixth. It's not Shador.
I know.
They get Big Willie. Then they also double dip in Ohio State. They get my boy Jack Sawyer in the fourth round. I
I
can't
can't
believe
believe he
this
made
guy
it to the fourth
dropped.
round. Yeah.
They get Caleb
And they didn't have a
Johnson.
second round pick. They traded that for Metcalf. But yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I am shocked.
They get Caleb Johnson in the third, and then they drafted Derek Harmon out of Oregon in the first round. So Max, looking at this class as a whole,
I
how
love
you
it.
feel?
I love it. It's just I cannot believe they passed up on Shador Sanders 3 times. I just can't believe it, or 4 times, or whatever, 5 times, whatever, 6 times, whatever. I love Derek Harmon pick, number 2 D tackle. Caleb Johnson, 5th running back. You get him in the third. Dude, that's Najee Harris. At his worst, he's Najee Harris. And you got him in the third round, not the 20th pick in the draft. And then 4, Jack Sawyer in the fourth round. Jack Sawyer? Are you kidding me? A
Yeah.
really productive edge rusher from college who's going to be a perfect Steeler. He's literally going to be like Brett Kiesel, like just a pro for 15 freaking years.
Mhm.
And Will Howard in the 6th, take a swing at him. Why not? Love it.
Yeah.
They did nothing wrong besides not take Shador, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love it. I love every single player that they picked, especially at the value. Getting Caleb Johnson in the third round.
In the third.
Yeah, it was
absolutely.
huge, because that guy was being talked about picking in the second round with
Fridge
Travion
first
Henderson.
rounder, they said. Yeah, 100%.
So I love the value there. They need a running back. Jalen Warren is going to be the other one, so it's not like Caleb Johnson is going to be the workhorse back. So they're going to have 2 solid running backs
And they
now.
complement each other really well.
And then Derek Harmon in the middle, he's going to fit really well with Keanu Benton. And then how much I love Jack Sawyer. He's a high floor guy. The fact that he's going to be with TJ Watt in the Pittsburgh Steelers,
Alex Highsmith, and those guys
he's
get
gonna
banged
learn
up.
some
He's
things.
a perfect replacement.
Yes,
Yeah,
they got
absolutely.
Nick Herbig. So they got Nick Herbig, TJ Watt, Jack Sawyer, and Alex Highsmith.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the best defensive line rooms in the NFL.
They're kicking butt.
Yeah,
they're kicking butt.
So I'm gonna say I love it. Max loves it as well. Let's move on. Let's go to another draft class that we absolutely love. Let's go to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm just gonna say right now, I love it. I know they don't have a lot of picks, but I highlighted these 3 picks because these are the biggest ones. Malachi Starks in the first, Mike Green in the second, and then they get Emory Jones, tackle out of LSU. Love it. I think they killed it.
Sit back. They just sit back and they get 2 first, the best safety, one of the 5 best edge rushers in the draft. We don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
It's just the rich get richer. They got a guy who's super explosive, undersized, can just be like just their alpha. He could be that. And then Malachi Starks is a perfect complement to Kyle Hamilton. He's going to captain it with him. There's going to be fewer miscommunications. I mean, this is the easiest one we have to do. Love it.
Yes.
Just go.
Yeah.
Nothing else. They got the guard from LSU in the 7th who's solid. Garrett Dellinger. Anina's Peoples is solid. Just go.
Yeah.
Just
I
go.
love it.
Move on. It's easy. That we only have to talk about 2 picks. It's crazy. They got those 2 guys.
Yeah. Love the Baltimore Ravens. All right. Let's go to Cleveland because we're probably going to spend some time on this one. So they got a big haul. This is one of the most, deepest draft classes that were drafted. So I got Mason Graham, Carson Swessinger, Quinshawn Judkins, Harold Fannin, and Shador Sanders.
Plus Dylan Gabriel.
And
Dylan Sampson.
I didn't even have enough room for them. I know. I even have enough room. But this is the draft class. Where do you want to start, Max?
Well, let me start by saying what I think. I love it. I absolutely love it. And let's not mention, you didn't mention one. We got a first-round pick next year from the Jags for Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I think Mason Graham's going to kick butt with Myles Garrett. Dude, Myles Garrett's been the only guy there. And I know they've had, the occasional Dalvin Tomlinson and Zadarius Smith was there for a year and he was good. But for the most part, when it's been Myles Garrett show and a revolving door. You added to that. You got a really athletic linebacker in Carson Swessinger. You got Judkins, who's just a bell cow. Harold Fannin, perfect insurance to Njoku. And then you get Dylan Sampson, my number 6 running back, really explosive, really swift, really easy. And then you get a first-round quarterback in the 5th round, Shador Sanders, who fell because off the field stuff. Love it. Love it.
I love it too.
Even though you wasted a pick on Dylan Gabriel. Love it.
Yeah. Dylan Gabriel.
That's what's crazy. How the hell did Dylan Gabriel go before Shador Sanders? There's nothing you can watch to say this kid's better. There's nothing.
Yeah, because if you flip-flop it, I love it even more. They get Shador in the 3rd, and then they get Dylan Gabriel in the 5th.
Yeah,
so which way you tie it. But I'm not going to let Shador Sanders in the 5th round bother me from not loving this draft class because that's really the problem. And it's not the player.
So you love it?
Yeah, I love it. I hate the situation that Shador Sanders went in, though.
Oh, I know.
I hate it. And that's why I'm not going to let this affect it.
They have Stefanski. Good coach.
I know they do, Max.
They have Cedric Tillman. They got Njoku. The O-line's all right.
I know they do.
It's just the stink of Cleveland.
It's too much noise. Way too much noise. It's a circus.
Is it?
Quarterback
It's Cleveland.
Room. It's Deshaun Watson.
Who's there?
It's Joe Flacco. It's Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders. That's not noise.
Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett doesn't get a mention.
And Kenny Pickett. I forgot about Kenny.
Look,
it's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
Hold on. As long as Deshaun's not taking him to the Asian massage, we're good. We're good.
I think it's a mess.
Deshaun
I'm
ain't playing this year. He's cooked.
I hope not, because that quarterback room is an absolute circus.
Right now, who's the starter? Week 1.
I don't know. I honestly don't.
I don't think it's that
and they're
bad.
all so different. They're all so different quarterbacks. That's the thing that amazes me.
That's what's good about it. That's what's cool.
I guess we'll just play 4 quarterbacks and each of them get a quarter. How about that, Max?
That sounds sick. Sick. Who do you want in the 4th? Shador, of course.
Oh, man. But I love their draft class. Besides the quarterback situation, literally scratch out Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders. This draft class is amazing. I think it's.
I like Carson Swessinger. I like him a lot.
It was a little. I was shocked. I was shocked that he went that early.
But they're built. That defense has just got a lot more. They got a lot stronger.
Yeah,
with these 2 guys.
I love their draft class, even though the quarterbacks is a fucking weird situation. Let's go to Cincinnati.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Cincinnati. I got 3 draft picks for them. I got Shamar Stewart, Demetrius Knight Jr., and Dylan Fairchild from Georgia. Max, how you feeling about this draft class?
I don't love Shamar Stewart. I understand it. I don't love it. I don't think they can afford, like you said, to just swing and miss, because this is exactly what that could be. Now, if you keep Trey Hendricks in there, then it's a little bit more tolerable, right? But if Trey Hendrickson's like, I'm out, just trade me, I'm not coming back. And then Joey brought up an excellent point. Why would you draft Demetrius Knight? I know it's like a year earlier, getting ahead of the Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson. They got Oren Burks. You can't play 4 linebackers unless we're going 4-4. No one told me. I like Dylan Fairchild, good guard. You already have Orlando Brown, Mims. Throw him in to replace Kappa. Solid. I like it. It's questionable. The first 2 picks are questionable, so I'm
but
gonna go
you like it.
questionable. I like it, but it's questionable.
Which
I'm
one
gonna go
is it?
questionable.
Which
It's
one is it?
questionable. It's questionable because
Okay.
it's cool to swing on Shamar, but man, there's like this kid's not gonna work.
I'm gonna go with questionable. This is my closest team that I wanted to hate, and it's just because I said this on our stream. You have T.
I think
Higgins,
you should hate it.
T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase. You got 3 players that are getting paid top dollar at their position. So that means there's not much money to go around. So what does that mean? You have to hit on draft picks. You have to hit on your free agency bargains. And Shamar Stewart, Demetrius Knight does not fit high floor guys. I would have loved if they got not this player in particular, but a guy like Emeka Buka. High floor guy. It's hard for this guy to bust. We just need a solid player. We need to make sure we hit on this pick. And Shamar Stewart, to me, is a boomer bust guy. He's the complete opposite.
Opposite. Exactly.
He's the opposite. So if he booms, great, fun. You're gonna, Cincinnati's gonna be doing backflips.
On the Costco boom meter, would you say he's 3 booms, 1 boom, 2 boom, like boom?
If you're talking to Chris Sims, he's like 10 booms. I mean,
I don't know. Look, he's a risk, and that's what it comes down to. So yeah, I think it's questionable as well. Yeah, so
it's questionable. And then later on in the draft, they went guys like they went another linebacker Barrett Carter.
Why? How many can we have?
Yeah, I find it crazy that they didn't pick one big defensive tackle to stop the run.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't
Darius Alexander was there, I believe.
Yeah, it's
could have picked him.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with questionable. Let's move on.
Smart Turner.
Let's go with the Houston Texans. Move to the AFC South. They got, it's so funny. I realized this when they drafted them, but Jaden Higgins, Iowa State, Ariante Irsay, Minnesota, Jalen Noel, Iowa State. They got both of them. Jalen Smith, cornerback from USC, and Woody Marks, running back out of USC. Max, how you feeling about the Houston Texans draft class?
I think it's questionable. I think they passed up the number 1 tackle twice. Or they passed up Josh Simmons, which I didn't agree with. I don't love Jaden Higgins at the top of the second round. I don't love Jalen Noel. Ursery's okay. Like, I get it. You fill the need. And I don't love Woody Marks. I don't really feel like that's what we needed to target. We could have targeted a lot of other things. But overall, it's a question. I think it's a questionable one to me. I don't love the moves. I don't think I know they need receiver help, but it's not like, are we this desperate where we have to take these 2 guys like almost back to back?
I'm gonna say I like it. I know the Jaden Higgins one for me is just like,
and I like him more than you.
Yeah,
but I just think it was early.
I like Jalen Noel.
Luther Burden was there.
Yeah, but they like Jaden Higgins, and they're not the only ones I've heard what Jaden Higgins love. Irsay,
they have that guy. They have him.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, but they don't have any receivers besides him. So I get double dipping because Tank Dell is probably not going to play next year. He's going to be hurt. So they struggled last year against Kansas City. That was glaring. The fact that they had 1 receiver and they had Dalton Schultz at tight end. It was just like, bro, like this is not going to work. We need some playmakers. So the fact that they got some dynamic guys, as much as I don't like Jaden Higgins and I don't agree with the draft status, but the fact that you made it up with Jalen Noel in the 3rd, like I can work with that. I can work with that. And as long as one of those guys pan out, I'm not going to have a problem. And I get like you wanted Josh Simmons in the 1st, but Irsay in the 2nd, you get some value. He's a guy that, he's decent. And I really love Woody Marks in the 6th. I think he's going to be really solid. He's going to be Joe Mixon insurance. And then Jalen Smith.
Well, they took him in the 4th. You don't think that's early for Woody Marks, the 4th?
Damn, this website is so wrong, Max. Jeez, they have him in the 6th on mine. I got to get off the CBS one. You would think CBS is on their shit.
Just go to ESPN. Just go to ESPN.
But Jalen Smith as well from USC. Shout out to Joey. Joey really likes Jalen Smith. So I'm gonna say I like it. I'm not gonna say questionable as much as I disagree with the Higgins pick. But I feel you. It's it could be looked at as questionable if you're not agreeing with those picks. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh,
So the
this would be a quick one.
Jaguars, yeah, Travis Hunter, Caleb Rainsaw, Wyatt Mullum, and Tootin from Virginia Tech. I'm gonna say I love it. I love this draft class. I do. I know it's not that many players. I know Caleb Rainsaw is pretty
I
early in the
think the
third.
move for Travis was a very big surprise, and I love it. And I like Jack Kaiser out of Notre Dame. I like Caleb Renshaw. I like Wyatt Millum, excuse me.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna go like it.
With Travis Hunter on a scale to 1 to 10, how confident are you that he's not gonna bust?
10. I think he's too good to bust unless he gets hurt.
I just think I think he went to the perfect situation, man.
Exactly. He doesn't have to be the alpha on offense or
Both sides.
defense. Correct. Brian Thomas, Tyson Campbell, good. Did you like it or love it?
I'm gonna go with love it, and part of it is like the confidence that they have as far as like
to do this with the 34-year-old GM and a 30-year-old coach. It seems like.
But you know what? This is what it's gonna take for you guys to stop wasting time and stop giving excuses to Trevor Lawrence. Because Trevor Lawrence every year there's an excuse. The coach, the GM, the receivers are not good. Oh, the offensive line sucks. Oh, his first year was garbage because it was a waste. No more excuses. You have Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, Travis Etienne. You have some playmakers. You need to make it work.
Good O-line too. Yep, absolutely.
You're the first overall pick, bro. You need to show something. This needs to be a playoff year. Correct. So I'm going to go with love it, okay, because they did amazing in the draft. Let's go to Tennessee. Tennessee, obviously, they went number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, quarterback. They went Oladejo from UCLA in the second, Kevin Winston, your boy, Elick, in the fourth, and Gunnar Helm, tight end.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm see. Let me rephrase. I love it. Cam Ward, number 1 quarterback by a mile. Oladeju got into him late. Was a little hot and cold. He was probably the next guy up. He's got a lot of traits. I love Kevin Winston. Really good pick. And I love Elick. I'm going love. And I know you like Gunnar Helm.
Yeah, I'm going to go with love. I felt like they hit value. And not to mention, this is a guy that I found out after, but undrafted free agent, they got Xavier Westbro. Cam Ward's guy. So I'm already building some guys for Cam Ward, and a lot of these guys are developmental. Let's just be honest. Like Cam Ward, I don't think he's developmental, but the UCLA kid, he's raw. Kevin Winston, he's raw. Yep. I think Elick to a certain point is raw. A lot of these guys have a lot of athleticism on them, and they're going to take some time, but that's fine. They're not in win now mode. They're a year or two away. You develop these guys. You hit solid draft classes back to back to back. This is how you build teams. And I feel like Tennessee is going in the right direction. Hopefully they can get something going with Callahan finally. And so he doesn't have an excuse that he has some weapons now on offense.
Correct. So he's got Calvin Ridley. He's got Westbrook-Ikhine. He's got the guys they just drafted. No excuses.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the Indianapolis Colts.
Yep.
So not much guys here, but the 3 main ones are Tyler Warren, JTT from Ohio State, as me and Max love to call him, and Justin Wally from Minnesota, cornerback in the 3rd round, which was kind of a shocker to me. But what do you think?
I love it. I love the fact that they stood pat. They got Tyler Warren, the number 2/number 1 tight end in most people's mocks or just list. JTT in the 2nd. It's a little bit, the same thing, but I still love the guy. I like DJ Giddens out of Kansas State, and I like Riley Leonard as some depth to provide for Anthony Richardson, who can kind of run Steichen's offense. I'm going love.
I'm going to go with love as well. You know how I feel about Tyler Warren, the fact that they stand, in the draft,
They
don't
stood pat
move,
and they got it. Yeah.
and they
And
got him.
if I told you before the first round, hey, they're going to get Tyler Bourne at 14, you'd be like, no, they're not. You're tripping.
Right.
Exactly. And they got him.
And they got him. They got a hell of a player too. And they got JTT, a guy that's going to stop the run. He's a high floor guy. I find it hard for him to bust. And let's see what Justin Wally does at corner. We'll see. But I like where the Colts are going, man. I really do.
Too.
So I'm going to say I love it.
It's time to make the push.
The reason why I love the Tyler Warren pick so much right here as well is because Anthony Richardson is a guy that's not going to throw the ball downfield. So I wouldn't love like Colston Loveland.
Wow.
At a consistent rate.
Downfield.
At a consistent rate.
Yeah, there you go. He might not be hitting anybody, but he'll throw it.
Accurately, at a consistent rate. But a guy like Loveland or Fannin, I don't think they will fit very good with a guy like Anthony Richardson. I felt like Tyler Warren was the best fit, and the reason why Tyler Warren is the best fit is because he's great with the ball in his hands. So he's going to catch the ball from behind the line of scrimmage. It's not going to take much.
He's going to be like Goddard on steroids for them, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the AFC West. Let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Just FYI, I think this division
saving the best for last right now.
Yeah, no, we got two more divisions.
No, I'm saying you're saving the best team for last. The Raiders or what?
No, I'm we're not the best team, dog. All right,
okay.
So Josh Simmons, Omar Norman Lott, and Ashton Gillette. These are the three players that I highlighted for the Kansas City Chiefs. Max, how'd you like the Chiefs draft?
I could not believe they got Josh Simmons at 32 after trading down. Love that pick. Omar Lott, wasn't high on him before. Juan told me to rewatch him. He's a monster against the pass. I don't know about the run defense, but on third down, they bring this guy in, and you're just like, oh, crap. And I love, the one they mentioned him, Jalen Royals pick. Yes. I was really high on Jalen Royals. I think he's high floor guy for them. They need a hit. Like, we forget people were so high on Sky Moore. What happened? Nothing. Rashee Rice could be suspended.
Yeah.
Who else do they have? Juju Smith. We're not over him yet. I love this draft, man. They did a really good job.
I think they killed it. I think they killed the draft. The Chiefs are great drafters. I love Josh Simmons, Omar Norman Lott. You know how I feel about him. I feel like he's going to be the next Michael Bennett. Ashton Gillette, a little early for him in the third round, but hey, you trust the Chiefs at that point. Noah Williams from Cal, cornerback. He was pretty solid. They get him in the third. And then fourth round pick, Jalen Royals, like Max was talking about. I mean, this is Rashee Rice insurance. He's going to be playing the slot. That's what I love about Jalen Royals. He's going to be able to catch the ball behind the line of scrimmage, which the Chiefs do a lot as far as screen game goes.
And stuff.
Yeah, so I love that pick, man. I think they killed it. I absolutely love it. I'm just going to give you a sneak preview right now. All the AFC West teams, I feel like they all killed it, and I love all their drafts.
Well, there's one team I'm not loving, but
you're just a hater, but okay. Let's go to your punk-ass LA Chargers, man. As much as I hate them,
let's go.
I think they killed it. I think they killed it. They got Omarion Hampton in the first. They got Trey Harris in the second, Jamari Caldwell in the third, and then they get Kyle Kennard, fourth round. I love it. I'm going to go with love, not even questioning it. How are you feeling about it?
I like it. I really
sounded like you wanted to say questionable for a second.
No. Don't ever say that again. But look, I don't love the Omarion Hampton pick. Like, he's a fine player, and he could have a big impact, but I would have loved something else for them. And I don't think they did a good enough job of attacking receiver. I would have loved to see them get Luther Burden, who they just passed up on. And, they're building a Harbaugh team, but I just wish they gave Herbert some more pass options. Omarion Hampton's going to be a great player for them. And I think he's in a perfect situation. They have a good old line. Alt, Slater, Becton, the other couple guys they got from Georgia, Salier. They're gonna run the shit out of the ball next year. And I think they could have ran the ball without Omarion Hampton, but maybe he can have that Saquon Barkley effect and take it from a good run team to like an amazing run team. So I like it. I don't love it.
I think Omarion Hampton is going to be one of the most dynamic players to come out of this draft. And the fact that he went to the Chargers.
Denver passed them. I thought he was going to Denver.
Yeah. And the fact that the Chargers got him is just Vic Fangio. I'm forgetting his name, the offensive coordinator.
It
Oh
is?
my
No.
goodness.
Oh,
Yeah.
Greg Roman.
Greg
Greg
Roman. There
Roman.
you go. Big
Yeah,
G.
G Row.
Yeah, G Row. G Row gets Amari and Hampton. And then the fact that they got Trey Harris, you know how I feel about Trey Harris. I'm very high on him.
Not
And
the
I think it
not
speaks volumes the fact that,
if he hits, I'll love this draft class, but
yeah.
I'm trepidatious about him.
The thing that I love about it though is if the medicals wind up clearing out with Trey Harris, I think he's going to be an absolute stud. They need a
Yeah, he could.
receiver. You know, Lad McConkey, he's good and all, but he's a slot
You got
guy.
the slot. Yeah.
Trey Harris can be your ex receiver, big time guy. He's the guy that a lot of people thought that I'm forgetting the receiver's
Johnson.
name. Yes, Quentin Johnston was going to be. That's who Trey
Yeah.
Harris is. So
I will
I
say
love it.
I will say one player I really love is RJ Mickens, who could be a late round gem.
Yeah, safety out of
All
Clemson.
right. Yeah. So where to next? Orange or black?
Let's go black. All right. Black is right. Okay. Back in black. First overall pick in the first round, Ashton Genty. Jack Besh.
What do you
second
mean first
round.
overall pick? Oh, for the Raiders. My fault,
For the
my
Raiders.
fault.
Jack Besh.
Sorry.
Jack Besh. There you go. Darian Porter, third round, and Charles Grant in the third round. I think the Raiders knocked that out of the park, man. I'm gonna say I love it. You know, maybe I'm biased.
It was some light.
Maybe I'm biased, but I feel like there's a lot of guys that I even get to like JJ Pegues in the 6th. They got Dante Thornton in the 4th.
I know.
Yeah, so
did Al Davis's ghost make that pick?
I don't know, man, but I'm liking
Darian Porter in the 3rd.
I'm liking the regime of this team, man.
I love it. I hate to say I love it.
Yeah.
Ashton Genty, great player, best running back by far. Jack Beck, solid. I would have loved for them to take Shador, but I guess they didn't want the circus. But I love it. They did a great job. They got dynamic players, high upside. They got a high floor guy in Jack Beck. Ashton Genty's pretty much high floor. I can't see a word where he busts. So I like it, and I think the O-line's better than people give it credit for.
And the Raiders picked some fun guys, man. If you guys want to do some more research, like JJ Pegues is a very fun player to draft. Darian Porter, you know, six-year senior, first year playing corner last year in college. He's a special teams guy. And then they pick a guy in Tommy Mellott from Montana State. This dude's basically like Taysom Hill, bro. Like, it's so funny the way that the Raiders were drafting. It's, you know, it's an interesting draft class. It's a fun draft class. We'll see how it turns out, but they addressed the receiver. They addressed the running back. They addressed the offensive line. I feel like they hit it all in this draft. And so let's see how it pans out. The Raiders got some bad luck when it comes to panning out for draft classes. Hopefully this one is different with this regime. All right. Let's go to the Denver Broncos. Okay, so Denver, they wind up going Jahdae Barron, RJ Harvey, Pat Bryant, and Savion Jones in the 4th. I'm just going to say it right now. Like I said, for every AFC West team, I love it. I love what all the AFC West teams
I love it too. Did. They got a joker on defense. They got RJ Harvey, who, and I was like, damn, Sean Payton likes this guy. He must be really good. I think Pat Bryant's going to be a fine receiver. He's going to be like the Robert Meacham, Lance Moore, like just those professional receivers. And Savion Jones has got a ceiling, a pretty good ceiling. And if they hit on him, it'll just take this draft class from like good to historic. So I love it. There's really not much to say.
The only thing I'm kind of scared of is that Dre Greenlaw just got lost for the season for them. So I would like a linebacker drafted there. But hey, you can't plan for the future like that. But I love it. RJ Harvey going to the Broncos. I'm telling you right now, if you're fantasy guys, I am picking RJ Harvey pretty high because he's going to be in Denver. And I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be the lead back over there in Denver. Sean Payton is just a factory.
He might not be the lead back because, you know, he loves to do the committee, but he'll be like an explosive, like Kamara type back, in my opinion.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the last division on second to last.
Two divisions.
Yeah, two divisions. Okay, Atlanta Falcons. Jalen Walker, James Pierce, Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman Jr. Max, they pick 2 safeties, they pick 2 edges. They double dip in multiple positions that they were struggling at. How are you feeling about it?
I guess they don't need a D tackle. I guess they're happy. I really love the James Pierce. I don't really love what they gave up. I'm gonna go questionable. I don't love the Jalen Walker unless you're gonna just turn him into an inside linebacker, which I think they're fine at. Then the two safeties, they have Jesse Bates. Why draft two? But I guess they also need to, like, you could have taken a swing on a cornerback. You needed a center. You lost Drew Dahlman. I just think it's questionable one. I don't love what they did. And they paid a first round pick. And there's a reality where Michael Penix isn't that good and they suck. And then they fire their coach and then they're picking in the top 5. And wait, they don't have the pick. It belongs to the Rams.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the Rams found a sucker. I think the Falcons got gypped off. Look, I understand if you love James Pierce. Max loves James Pierce. He's the second overall
Yeah.
defensive end.
This you got to hate this one just from them getting fleeced. This has got to be your one.
I can't do that because at the end of the day, like, do I hate James Pierce enough to like hate this draft class? No. Do I hate Jalen Walker that much? No. I'm gonna say questionable for sure though, and it's just because the way that they're going about it. I felt like they could have went a lot of different ways with this, but hey, if all these players wind up hitting, and they're all players that I love, this is gonna be a great draft class. So it needs to hit. It needs to hit. James Pierce can't be this bust, which he has some bust capability with him. It's gonna derail their franchise for at least a year and a half to go with a guy in James Pierce and just be like, hey, we gave up a first round pick because we got James Pierce and he didn't do shit for our team this
Well,
year.
he's basically 2 first round picks. He's next year's too.
Yeah.
He's next year's too.
So we'll see how that pans out. But I'm definitely gonna go questionable, man. I was already leaning that way on draft night. I was not feeling what Atlanta was doing. Okay, let's go with the New Orleans Saints. They go Kelvin Banks, Tyler Shook. They go Jonas Sanker, and they go Devin Neal in the 6th round. Max, how you feeling about the New Orleans Saints?
I got to go questionable one. I love the Banks pick. I like the Devin Neal pick in the 6th. Really like that one. The Tyler Shuck one was just two questions. That just I cannot believe they passed up Shador. They took a guy who's 25 years old, who's probably not going to get that much better, who's not that great. A lot of injury concerns. Yeah, he's got good arm strength. He's a dynamic athlete, but I just don't think it's there. And this single-handedly just changed my opinion of how they ran things, and I don't like it at all.
Yeah,
I really don't.
This is a new regime, and I feel like I can't get the theme here. The theme here. I can't.
Yeah, no.
I don't know what they're trying to do. I like certain players. Like I really like Devin Neal in the 6. I like Kelvin Banks, but it's like Tyler Shook. Not a big fan of him. I know people are high on him, but I'm just simply not a big fan of Tyler.
I guess Derek Carr's not playing because everyone's like, oh, let's just take this guy. But he's not. It's not like he's that great where
Right.
It's like, oh, wow, yeah, he's ready. He can just come in and kill. He's 25.
And then Vernon Burton in the 3rd, who's a solid player,
Early.
but there was way too many players on the board. Jonas Sanker in the 3rd, solid. He's a solid guy. That's probably the most like guy that I like besides Banks. I hate it. I don't like what the Saints are doing. They were the last to hire a head coach, and I think like it's showing right now as far as them being unprepared for the draft. So hey, prove me wrong, and these players wind up panning out, shut me up. But as far as right now, on this day, I don't like their draft class. I hate it. This is my first hate.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's go to the Carolina Panthers. They go Ted McMillan, go Nick Scorton, Princely, help me out, Max.
Manlaya?
Yeah, Manlayan.
Let me see. Yeah.
And Trevor Etienne. How do you feel about the Panthers draft, Max?
They hit it out of the park. Yeah. Getting Nick Scorton in the 2nd was unbelievable, and then they get another good edge. They help out Bryce Young, and they got a lot of good Lathan Ransom, really physical safety. Jimmy Horn, who I really like. I'm going to love it. I love it a lot, man. I think they hit it out of the park.
And I think the fact that they got those 2 edge rushers, who I'm big fans of.
Me and you were like, when's Nick Scorton getting picked? This is unbelievable.
And you get bigger, you get stronger. Like now you got Derek Brown and Nick Scorton. And then this is what I'm talking about. Like don't double dip in the same position and get the same type of player. They get 2 completely different guys. Princely, straight edge rusher. He's a bender. Nick Scorton, straight run stopper. So it's like you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you get someone whose game is built on strength. You get one guy's game is built on speed. You got instead of having parity, you have differences, and I like that. I
And then
really
you
do.
get Chuba Hubbard and Trevor Etienne now.
Insurance, yeah,
You get
insurance, yeah,
both of those guys, man. And then Lathan Ransom, safety out of Ohio State, that was pretty nice as
yeah,
well. And then they get your
yeah.
boy, they get Jimmy Horn.
I know. I really like Jimmy Horn. I was happy he got picked.
Yeah. So I love their draft class. I thought Carolina did really, really well. Okay, let's go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Emeka Buka, Benjamin Morrison, Jacob Parrish, and David Walker. Just to highlight a couple of picks from them. Max, how you feel about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft?
I love everything about it except the first round pick. So that first round pick being what it was, this was a pick that I think too many people were high on. And it's not the player; it's just the position. Jalen McMillan was good last year. Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. He's still really good. I know Chris Godwin's hurt, but he's coming back and you just paid him a lot of money. Unless you have intel, Mike Evans is hanging it up and you wanted to get ahead of it. It's just too much parity for me. I don't think Emeka Ibuka is going to have some great year. I think Jalen McMillan was awesome. I love the Benjamin Morrison. I love the Jacob Parrish getting sticky man-to-man corners, something they desperately needed. Benjamin Morrison could be a star. He might be a gem for both of us.
Yeah.
I'm going to go like.
Yeah.
Just because that first round pick, I wasn't sure about it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go like as well. The good thing about it is that Emeka Buka is not one of these players that like it's a boom or bust, like a Shamar Stewart type.
No,
he's a high
floor.
floor.
Yeah.
So he's, they went luxury. It was a luxury pick because they're trying to make sure that Baker has some weapons. But hey, man, like Jalen McMillan was really good for them last year.
Yeah, and they got Tez Johnson in the 7th, who's going to help, the lightest player ever.
Yeah, and they love those Oregon guys. Maybe they got Bucky Irving's opinion on Tez Johnson a little bit.
Yeah.
But hey, they get David Walker, who's like the Mo Kamara of this draft of last year. So, hey, Jacob Parrish is a dog, and Benjamin Morris are dogs. They're both press man-to-man corners that can go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, they're both press man-to-man corners that can be very, very high potential there.
If they had done something different with the first round pick, I think we both would have loved this draft class. Yeah, I really do.
Probably would have loved it. Looking at the board right now, so some of the available players, like I would have loved Jahdae Barron there. He went right after. Would have loved him there.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I would have loved James Pierce here. Get some type of just like edge high. Like you would have been like, okay, I get it. They desperately need an edge. Malachi Starks would have been fun.
Yeah.
I would have loved Jahad Campbell here too.
Yeah, but they get Emeka Buka, so obviously they know something that we don't. Like maybe they know Mike Evans is going to hang it up and Chris Godwin ain't going to start the year healthy at all. So let's go to the Minnesota Vikings. We're in our last division, Max. Minnesota Vikings didn't have much. I highlighted two players. It was Donovan Jackson and Ty Felton out of Maryland, who, man, that is pretty early for Ty Felton. But how'd you feel about their draft class?
It's hard because you basically have to base it off the first round pick. I like it. Donovan Jackson's a good guard who has the potential to play some tackle. He went toe to toe with that Bill Carter. He got a couple times, but he's a guard and he's a kick ass guard. And move him next to Christian Darrisaw, solidify that line for whoever starts for it, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or JJ McCarthy, who I believe it should be. I like it. I really do. It's hard to love something that's they only made 5 picks in the draft and they didn't make a pick. They made a pick at 24, then their next pick was at like 98.
Yeah,
or 99.
It's hard to love it. I'm gonna say like Max said, there's just not enough depth there. But hey, Ty Felton, I seen some stuff on tape. I just think it was a little early on the 3rd round. And then Donovan Jackson, great like versatile player.
No corner or safety, which I think they could have used for sure.
Yeah, they lost Cam Bynum, so Harrison Smith is getting old in the tooth. So
he's been getting old in the tooth for 3 years.
Yeah,
like come on.
But we'll see. You know, Brian Flores does something with that defense. So
yeah, he'll do something.
Yeah. Let's see how they pan out with that. Let's go to the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers went Matthew Golden for the first time since like 2000. They pick a receiver in the first round.
2002. Javon Walker.
Anthony Belton out of NC State in the 2nd, and then they get Savion Williams in the 3rd.
I was so surprised they made that pick.
Me too.
But I love it. I have to say, I like this draft class a lot. It's not love because I don't love Anthony Belton. I don't love Matthew Golden. I totally get Like, let's do it. Christian Watson's pretty much done in Green Bay. The writing's on the wall for me that it's not happening. You're not extending him if you draft Matthew Golden, who does what he does. He's just an inch or two shorter. And then Savion Williams is just like this boomer bust. Cordero Patterson. I like the kid Brandon, or was it Baron Sorrell, the
Yeah.
88 kid from Texas, was a good pass rusher who came out, was there, flew on his own accord. By the way, no one mocked him round one ever. But I like this class a lot. I like it.
I'm gonna say it's fun. It's a fun class. Matthew Golden, they get him, they get another receiver, and they already have a bunch, but they think Matthew Golden is gonna be an alpha guy. I think they're gonna be sadly disappointed because I don't think he's an alpha type dude. But if they can just have a solid wide receiving core like they have been, and he can be the Christian Watson replacement, that's gravy. I'll take
A
it.
healthy replacement. Yeah,
A healthy
absolutely,
replacement.
yeah.
And then Savion Williams is just fun. That's just a fun pick.
Yeah.
Savion Williams is one of these players. If you guys didn't watch our wide receiver rankings, he's a Cordell Patterson. Like, he plays running back. He's super athletic. He's super raw. He doesn't know how to play wide receiver at all.
He's just athlete. I wonder if that means Jaden Reed's going to transition to doing more traditional wide receiver things. And Savion Williams might take away some of the Jaden Reed touches we've got, like, backfield option plays. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll definitely see.
Most definitely. But I like it. Not enough to hate it. You know how I feel about Matthew Golden, so it's hard for me to hate that. Let's go to the Chicago Bears, who go Colston Loveland with their first pick. Luther
First tight
Burden
end off the board.
Yeah, first tight end off the board. Luther Burden in the second, and Ozzie Trapillo.
Yeah.
Out of Boston College, offensive lineman. Max, how'd you feel about the Bears draft?
I love it. Colston Loveland. I can't believe I can't believe I'm shocked they kind of went him over Warren, because I just thought Warren would be the first tight end, even though this was my guy. This is Sam Laporta with better blocking, in my opinion. You got my number 2 wide receiver, Luther Burden, who's a slot specialist who's going to kill in the slot. They got a Doomsday. They got DJ Moore. Ben Johnson loves his slot guys. I'm not saying this is Amon-Ra St. Brown 2.0, but his level of impact is going to be greater than I think people are estimating for now. And I like the Trapillo to just kind of get some depth there. And Shamar Turner's a really good D tackle, really good pick in the second round. They had a lot of capital early. They had 4 picks in the top 100 of the draft, in the top 70. Yeah. And they used them, and I think they did a good job. I'm going Love.
I'm gonna go with I love as well. The Luther Burden and Loveland picks are the ones that do it. And honestly, now that you think about it more and more, it makes a lot of sense why they went Colston Loveland. Like you said, the Sam Laporta things, but I think more importantly, like, Cole Kmet is a solid tight end in the league still. But the thing is that they're polar opposites. Loveland is more the slot guy that you can potentially play at receiver. Yeah. And then you got Cole Kmet, who's more the inline tight end, traditional tight end, leak out. That's why they didn't want to go Tyler Warren, because they felt like they already had that in Cole Kmet. So I love it. And then Luther Burden, I mean, me and Max were talking about earlier, like, guys with great situations. Like, Luther Burden is just one of those guys where he goes in and he doesn't even have to produce like the best receiver. They got Romo Duze, who they picked in the top 10 last year, that's potentially going to be a stud. And then they still got DJ Moore. So it's like they're planning for the future in case DJ Moore falls off a cliff somehow. So love what the Bears are doing, man. I think what's his name is building something special, man.
Ryan Poles and Ben. I just love that Ben Johnson got his offense set already.
Yes, most definitely.
Fix the O-line, and now we're going to just get pass catchers and all that fun stuff.
100%.
Let's go to Ben Johnson's old team.
Let's go to the last team that we have, Max. It's been a long one if you've been along for this ride. Tyleik Williams in the first, Tate Ratledge in the second, and Isaac Tesla in the third. I'm going to say this. It's questionable. And I agree. And it's only because the Lions are always going to do their own thing. They're always going to do their own thing. Yeah. And most of the time it works out. And most of the time it works. They always pick their own guy. Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs. Me and Max have always been questionable of the Lions draft. But, I won't be surprised if I'm wrong. Because Isaac Tesla, Arkansas in the third round, like, that's questionable to me. Tate Ratledge in the second, like, solid guard, okay.
Over Mike Green was just the move. I was like, we make this whole big stink about getting edge help.
Yeah.
and you have like a premier edge, and you could take him. And if the off the field stuff scared you, I get it. I absolutely get it.
Right.
And I think Tate Ratledge will help out because they're getting a little long in the tooth and guard. He might start for them.
Yeah, 100% though. I get the Tyleek Williams pick. I just felt like they had bigger needs. That was my issue. I love the
Correct.
player and I
Yeah.
love the philosophy as far as DJ Reader is getting old. He probably won't be there
Lee
next year.
McNeil's
And
gonna
then
be banged up to
Tyleek
start the year.
Williams, my comp to him, I seen a lot of Aleem McNeil. So I felt like the Lions see some of the same stuff that I seen on film as far as, hey, let's get our Aleem McNeil insurance here and just get two of them at worst. So Tyleek Williams, he's a body mover, man. He's a certified ass kicker. I love that pick, but it's just questionable, man. Like Miles Frazier from LSU, they get the edge from Boise State. He's decent. Dan Jackson from Georgia, okay, high level Georgia guy, but it's just questionable, man. And like I told Max right now,
That's
like
the Lions.
that's the Lions for you. They're gonna do their own thing. They're not gonna care about anyone else's value because they just go with their own thing, man. And it usually works out for the most part.
Correct. Yep. Absolutely.
All right.
That's all of them.
That's all of them. So it was a long one, guys. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. Like I said, go through the timestamps and see your own team if you want. If you're curious to see what we said about your team, I'll be making some clips during the week, so there'll be some shorter content for you guys. But we appreciate you guys rocking with us. I just want to give a big thank you to anyone that joined our stream those 2 days on Thursday and Friday. Me and Max went through a lot of work for that, so we appreciate all the love and
Shout out
support.
to Joey for filling in for me.
Shout out to
Stepping
Joey,
up.
man. Joey did not vanish. I was scared as hell. I thought he was going to leave me hanging, but he stuck in there, man. So if you guys want to watch the replay of some raw reactions, go ahead and watch that live stream that we had. We had some pretty.
Hopefully we can get some more Joey on the pod and the channel.
Yeah, most definitely. But until then, we'll see you guys next time. All right. Peace.
Big dreams, everything ain't what it seems. Glittering gold both ways. Not on my team. This organic, we don't buy.